Many people hold the mistaken view that science has replaced philosophy. Science is better than philosophy. Who needs philosophy when you have science? Science has moved us beyond philosophy. This is an idiotic view. Supporters of science have insulted philosophy far too readily. There is no science without philosophy. You cannot have science without philosophy. Science is totally reliant on logic, epistemology, and ontology. All of these things are fundamentally philosophical. Logic, epistemology, and ontology are all philosophical concerns. You cannot have science without logic, epistemology, and ontology. Science is founded on philosophy. Science is born out of philosophy. Science only exists because of philosophy. Science cannot replace philosophy because science cannot exist without philosophy. Without the philosophical fields of logic, epistemology, and ontology, science is nothing. Without moral philosophy to guide it, science is worthless. Without the guidance of moral philosophy, science is as easily used to invent a new illness as to cure an old one. Science often incorporates a code of ethics. A code of ethics is often not itself scientific. A code of ethics is founded on moral philosophy. There is a widespread lack of appreciation for philosophy. Philosophy is so significant that people have become blind to it. People are best at overlooking that which is everywhere. Science is not beyond philosophy. The beating heart of science is the scientific method. The scientific method was conjured up by philosophers. Science is massively valuable, but science is not an adequate tool for answering many philosophical questions. Distinguishing between good and evil, identifying the purpose of life. These are significant concerns that science struggles to contend with. Philosophy is not going to be replaced by science. Philosophy is not going anywhere. Science cannot exist without philosophy. Science is founded on philosophy. Science must be guided by philosophy. Science cannot answer every question. Philosophy can answer questions that science cannot answer. Some questions are beyond the reach of science. Morality, metaphysics, the most fundamental components of reality, the building blocks of science itself, many of these things are beyond science. Science is itself entirely reliant on various philosophical assumptions and arguments. Science is not beyond philosophy. Science is made possible by philosophy. Science requires logic, ontology, and epistemology. These things are fundamentally philosophical. Science cannot replace philosophy. To regard science as a replacement for philosophy is a terrible mistake. Philosophy is as significant as ever to the modern world. We need philosophy. Those who seek to neglect philosophy are making a terrible mistake. Without philosophy, science is founded on nothing. Without philosophy, many questions cannot be answered. Without philosophy, science is not guided towards that which is good. Philosophy can do many things that science cannot. Some atheists seem to dislike philosophy. They view it as almost innately religious, in contrast with their rational science. Some pretend that science destroyed religion. In reality, all of the best arguments against religion are philosophic first and scientific second. Philosophy should never be dismissed as irrational or outdated. Philosophy should never be dismissed as a self-help tool and nothing more. Philosophy is the foundation of all human knowledge. All human understanding is founded on philosophic assumptions. Philosophy is the fundamental building block of human knowledge. Without logic, you have no way of reaching a justified conclusion. Without ontology, you have no foundation for your worldview. Without epistemology, you have no way of gaining knowledge. Without morality, you have no good and evil. Philosophy is incredibly significant. No words can grasp the extent to which philosophy is significant to human society. Philosophy is the basis of the distinction between good and evil, right and wrong. Philosophy is the basis of reasoning. Philosophy is the basis of acquiring information. Philosophy is the basis of conceptualizing a fundamental reality. All of these things are absolutely essential. All of these things are absolutely philosophical. Philosophy is enormously valuable, and it always will be. Questions of logic and morality, epistemology and ontology, will always be the most significant and most fundamental questions of this world. Nothing will ever change that. Without these questions, you have nothing. You do not even have confusion and disorder. Even this requires a degree of epistemology and ontology. The claim that the world is confusing and disorderly is an ontological claim founded on epistemological processes. Even the most basic observations require philosophy. Without philosophy, we have nothing. We need philosophy. We need to remember the value of philosophy. We need to give philosophy the attention that it deserves. We neglect philosophy at our own peril. When we neglect philosophy, we so quickly become dogmatists. We take our fundamental philosophical views for granted. We do not question them. We assume that they are part of reality itself. This is irrationality, and an irrational being can be convinced of anything. An irrational mind can believe anything. Is there anything more dangerous than that? Nothing is as dangerous as irrationality. Irrationality is a long and winding road. The destination is evil.